Sports have a unique ability to inspire, to cause us to dream, and to overcome. For athletes with a disability, sports give them the opportunity to transcend their limitations. Every year, Oklahoma is home to an event that inspires disabled athletes from all over the world to redefine the boundaries of possibility.
Some folks may feel sorry for them because they're missing a leg or missing an arm. But then you come see them out on the track on Saturday and you're like, these kids are just like every other kid on the block, and they want to go fast and they want to run hard, and it's great to watch them be able to highlight what they can do.
That's what we do. We overcome, and we have fun doing it.
When you see it, it's beyond impactful.
Anybody that I've brought to an event has walked away with that sense of, wow, these athletes are athletes.
The men and women that come to Edmond have different disabilities. What they all have in common is a competitive spirit. For 1 week every year, they get their chance in an event of both bravery and inspiration, Oklahoma's Endeavor Games. What makes an athlete great? Is it their strength, their competitive spirit, or is it something more? Oklahoma is home to an event where disabled competitors begin a journey that can lead to Paralympic gold. More than a mere track meet, the UCO Endeavor Games in Edmond is a collection of individual feats of courage and strength born out of intensely personal struggles. Stories of heartache and pain turned to triumph. Athletes inspired to break through their limitations and achieve greatness.
It's kind of crazy to think how long we've been doing this.
Katrina Shackley was there at the start of it all.
In '98, I myself was actually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I started going to events with people with MS and things like that, and I noticed that there were a lot of physical disabilities. And so it was just really in my mind a lot. And I said, what if we created something for athletes with physical disabilities? We contacted a couple of universities, and UCO was the one that actually called us back and said, yeah, we've done Special Olympics in the past. You know, we would love to help the community. We would love to be a part of this.
What started as a 2-day event has become a week-long festival that attracts athletes from 2 years old to age 74.
The Endeavor Games for athletes with physical disabilities. The main disabilities are amputees, wheelchair, cerebral palsy, and blind.
We have athletes that have amputations, that have visual impairments, athletes with cerebral palsy who've had strokes or head injuries, people who've been paralyzed either from birth or from a spinal cord injury.
We added a military component where, you know, because that's when the wars were ramping up with Iraq and Afghanistan, and we had a lot of injured military coming back. And we've also added training camps.
It's everyone, just anyone with disabilities or needing adaptive sports. They're doing track and field, cycling, archery, swimming. There's a triathlon tomorrow.
When we first started it, people treated it almost like it was a charity event, like these weren't true athletes. And through the years, we've been very, very, very positive on, hey, just come out and watch it once, and you're gonna see that these people are true athletes.
The Endeavor Games boosts your confidence by letting you be around people that are similar to you.
everybody has a disability. So there's no, oh, look at the 4-year-old in the wheelchair or anything like that, because everyone's generally in a wheelchair or they have a prosthetic on their legs or something of that nature. So there's none of that.
One year we had a little girl that had been adopted. She told her mom, and her mom passed it on to us, that besides the day she had been adopted, that was the happiest day of her life. And just to hear something like that, just you think, oh wow, I'm really, really impacting someone for the rest of their life.
A smaller size piece created for UCO.
A statue was dedicated at the beginning of the Endeavor Games outside the UCO Wellness Center. It's a monument to those brave athletes who've refused to be sidelined by disability, a point of pride for those who have watched the event grow into an important step towards international recognition.
This piece will stand as a legacy for generations as they're touched and impacted by those who went before them in the area of amateur sport.
The Paralympics are the ultimate event for disabled athletes and are held immediately following the respective Olympic Games. Many competitors here have been before and are working towards the 2016 Games in Rio de Janeiro.
These athletes range anywhere from a brand new athlete who this is the first time they've been competing all the way to our national team athletes. So it's a very wide breadth of athletic talent and experience, but they're all what we would call adaptive athletes or Paralympic eligible.
From the beginning, we really wanted to make sure that it was a festival where anyone felt they could come, and we wanted to encourage youth and novice athletes to come and be able to compete alongside Paralympians. When a 5-year-old can come to an event for the first time and see a 25-year-old that's a 2-time Paralympian compete, what that does for them is incredible. You know, the Paralympians like it too, the elite athletes, because they get a chance to mentor and show these kids and adults who are newly injured what they can do with their lives.
We have geared Paralympic sports and adaptive sports to give them as much of a sense of the traditional sport as possible. So they really have an opportunity to go out and ride a bicycle just like their friends. They have an opportunity to play a team sport like sitting volleyball.
We're the host site for the men's and women's sitting volleyball teams. So they live here, a lot of them full-time, year-round. Sometimes we're a qualifier for different sports, powerlifting. We can be a qualifier for the international powerlifting competitions. We're a qualifier for track and field nationals.
It helps me because the Paralympics is continuing to become more prestigious and the Paralympic movement is growing rapidly in the United States.
Jeremy Campbell is a 2-time Paralympic gold medalist. He's training for the 2016 Games in Rio, and he's competed in the Endeavor Games since the beginning.
I was born with a rare birth deficiency called fibular hemophilia. So basically, simple terms, I was born without the fibula in my right leg. So when I was at the age of 1, my parents and doctors decided to have it amputated. So I took my first step on a prosthetic leg, so it's all I've ever really known. I was an athlete my entire life, so I grew up in a very athletic home, 2 older brothers that played sports, and I never knew about the Paralympics. And my prosthetist, who I've been with Hanger Clinic for over a decade now, told me about the Endeavor Games, and I didn't know what the heck it was, and kind of just out of the blue decided to come. So I went up to the registration booth and I said, hi, my name is Jeremy Campbell, I want to compete in this event and this event. And they go, okay, what's your disability? I said, excuse me? And she goes, what's your disability? I said, I don't have one. And she goes, well, you can't compete unless you have a disability. I said, oh, okay. So I actually walked away from my first Endeavor Games because for the first time, I grew up in a small town, and my parents raised me in a way where I couldn't take no for an answer and I couldn't make excuses. And so for the first time, I heard the word disability describe my physical circumstance, so I didn't understand that. So that was like a huge paradigm shift of disabled sports. So that was the first time I heard it. And as I was walking away, I saw another person with a prosthetic leg and a prosthetic arm, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm in the right place. And so I walked back up to the registration booth, and I said, you know, I have a single leg amputee. I'm below the knee. And she goes, oh, your disability is a TNF 44. And I go, oh.
He ran a race and just blew everybody away.
That race was the start of a stellar career that has taken Campbell to the Beijing Paralympics in 2008 and the 2012 Games in London.
So stayed pretty busy traveling, competing internationally. So I tried to fit in a few international competitions each season to stay crisp.
But it took a lot of hard work to get there. He practically lives in the gym.
Track and field is just like any other sport, so I have a full season and I train 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. It's a full-time job, so I train 2 to 3 times a day. So I have a technical throw session in the morning and then strength and conditioning in the afternoon. When I'm in the ring getting ready to throw and compete, it's just taking care of the little things that produce a big throw and a good competition. So when I'm getting ready to throw, I usually have a checklist that I go through real quick and then just have fun, throw. Each year, each competition, you kind of just learn and you become more experienced and more of a seasoned athlete. With the discus, I want to break the 65-meter barrier, so gotten close to that. And then ultimately, I would love to pick up the heavier discus and in 2016 try to make the Olympic trials, not just the Paralympic trials. So I think that's a fair goal. Me and my coach both think I can accomplish that, and that's the next stepping stone.
The Oklahoma weather is always a factor at the Endeavor Games. Sometimes it's the heat. On this day, it's the rain, making the cycling course near Arcadia more challenging.
It's going to make it faster with the road being a little wet, so it will work out good for us. This is a good time to be able to come out and see a lot of talent, a lot of guys that I don't normally get to see from all over the country. We meet out here. Different levels of athletes, anywhere from the beginner guys, which is really great to see, to the elite level guys who come out and more or less mentor to those guys that are just starting out.
And I get to be around other challenged athletes and get to learn from them and meet all them. It's a great event. It's the most challenging cycling event I've ever done.
Go, go! The weather is sunny and clear for the rowing competition on the Oklahoma River.
The addition of all of the things that have been created on the Oklahoma River, including the Chesapeake Boathouse, the Devon Boathouse, and we're actually getting ready to open our own boathouse, which will be called the CHK Central Boathouse. We've been able to host some of the sporting competitions out there, triathlon, canoe kayak, things like that as well. So yeah, having water just, gave us more opportunities that we never ever dreamed we would have had.
The new J.L. Mitch Pool Complex in Edmond is a thrill for Kirsty Van Biesler.
Swimming's a lot of fun. I don't swim with my legs because I don't have very much control over my legs, and so that helps my arms too and my upper body. And so it's just another strength building activity.
When Kirsty was 2 or 3, we needed to have a swimming pool for her physical therapy. She really loved swimming. She felt like she was a free ballerina. And so every time we had an opportunity, we went swimming. And then the first year we did Endeavor Games, Bradley said, hey, they have swimming. And we're like, we're in. And we got a friend to come over and coach her and teach her how to do the turns, because she had just played in the pool for hours before. So we went in search of a house with a pool, and we found one, and it has a yard, and it happens to have an outdoor basketball court. And so when we found out about the center and the basketball team, we got to take home a little wheelchair and spend a lot of time out there practicing.
Life in Jinx is pretty normal for Kirsten. School, friends, family, and lots of practice for sports.
I have spina bifida, and that's like when you're born, your back isn't quite closed all the way. And so I had back surgery like as soon as I was born. And before I was 3 years old, I had had 6 surgeries. And so I have to walk with forearm crutches. It makes getting around a little harder, but you just have to have a good attitude about it and do what you need to do.
Kirsty was playing soccer on a special needs team, and one of the Jinx teachers came up to us at one of the games and said, "Hey, did you know there's a Lifetime Sports Center here in Tulsa that provides wheelchair basketball for students?" We were like, "No." And so we called Bradley, the coach, up, and he said, "Bring her in." You know, she was 10 years old.
Kirsty was real timid when I started. She didn't want the ball, she didn't want to handle the ball, she didn't want to shoot the ball.
She couldn't make the shot at all, but every time she shot, if she even tried, he counted it, you know, and gave her the confidence to keep trying. And when she turned 11 that summer, she made her first shot.
Raymond Bradford coached basketball for 50 years before being disabled in a motorcycle accident. He thought his days on the court were over until he was asked if he would be interested in coaching wheelchair basketball.
Well, I went and watched him for a few minutes, and I said, "Man, I don't know anything about handling these wheelchairs or the skills of the wheelchair." I said, "But my basketball knowledge, if I can convert it to wheelchair basketball, maybe I can help these kids out and help myself out." But it did more for me than it did the kids. Whenever I want to teach something, I go to Kirsty, because she's always there listening, and she knows exactly what I'm saying. She's the person I can go to and ask for anything. Real coachable.
1, 2, 3, Jammers!
Kirsten's team is called the Tulsa Jammers, and they're known nationally as one of the best.
The basket's 10 foot, and you have to dribble, and so learning the rules is probably one of the hardest things about playing wheelchair basketball. It's a co-ed sport, and at first it's intimidating because they're so much bigger and stronger than you, but you just learn to get right up and be just as tough as them, and it helps you be more aggressive than just playing with girls.
Hey, let's go!
It is a very physical sport. We flip the chairs and we run into each other, and we get blisters all over our hands. It's probably more physical than regular basketball. A lot of people can just hop right back up in their chairs. I can't quite do that yet, but a lot of people can just do it like a push-up and jump right back into their chair.
No one has an advantage. Everyone's in a chair. They can't do any more than they can. No one can jump higher. So it has its benefits, but it also has its disadvantages.
Kirsty has won gold at the Endeavor Games several times. Her victories have inspired greater goals for the future.
I just want to be able to be independent in life and not have to be dependent on people to do things for me. I want to be able to drive my own car and get to places and work. So I think this helps with your independence too. I'm thinking about going to UTA in Arlington for basketball. They just started a girls team there, and they give out scholarships, and so I'm hoping to go there. Maybe in the future I might think about Paralympics.
Look at that, it's playing, oh man.
2016 is the long-term goal, but as the runners step to the starting line at the Edmond North track, they're focused on the finish.
It's awesome. I mean, you know, there's not really another environment like this, and so this is like kind of just a type of place that you're not going to see anywhere else. One of the things I love about it is you'll see these kids in wheelchairs or whatever their disability is, no legs, no arms, or all the above, and they have the biggest smile on their face. And they're being active, they're playing sports, and that's just, I think that says a lot about the human spirit.
When you go around, you don't ever get to see people like you. The first year I came here, that was the first year I've ever seen anybody that was missing a leg or an arm or anything like that. So it's a great new experience.
And we have 2- and 3-year-olds coming out and running on their prosthesis. And we have, I don't know, at any time probably 7 or 8 up to 10 kids under the age of 10 who were born without legs or without part of their legs, who are out here running. They're athletes. It doesn't matter what their impairment is, they're running and they're having a blast.
At the beginning, a lot of parents, well, I'm worried my child will get hurt. I don't want to put them in that situation. What if something happens? And for them to see that their kids are going to be fine, it's giving them an outlet, it's keeping them healthy.
Those hands, go ahead and grab it.
Ryder Gibson is a tough competitor, disguised as a little boy. His parents found the Endeavor Games through the Greater Oklahoma Disabled Sports Association.
He's kind of hot or cold when he's out there. He's either super focused and he has fun, or he's being a 4-year-old and throwing a fit and crying. There doesn't seem to be a medium. I mean, there's some times where he doesn't want to talk or anything. He's just focused and he's staring down the track, and it's go time.
The only way to slow Ryder down at home is to get him to wear his 17 gold medals.
I get Otto.
It was a scary start for Brian and Christy Gibson. At 17 weeks into her pregnancy, they were told that their son would be born with spina bifida.
His spinal cord didn't enclose all the way during the pregnancy. So we knew he was going to have a surgery within 24 hours of being born, so he had a back surgery, and we knew the prognosis for him to being able to walk was very slim. But obviously you can see that doesn't hinder him. He gets around anywhere he wants to get around.
He's, as you can see, a very active, outgoing little boy, and he does not let anything stop him. From sunup to sundown, he's going.
There's nothing to feel sorry about. We just do stuff a different way. We still do everything, and we still try everything we want to.
Point to the camera.
I don't feel sorry for him. He's a normal kid just with wheels attached to his butt.
The Endeavor Games are a busy weekend for Ryder. He runs the 20-meter, the 60-meter, and the 100 and 200-meter.
Here we go.
Then he has the field events in the shot put, discus, and javelin.
Awesome.
Dig, 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 dig.
Seeing him out there, I'm that mom on the sidelines screaming, go, 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 but whether he wins or loses, it's great to see him crossing that finish line and, going right into my arms, and I, give him that big hug, because no matter where he placed or how he did it. He started and he finished it, and that's all that matters.
AFOs if we need to.
He's the only person I know that finishes a 5K and says, can we do it again, right afterwards, and I obviously say no.
Athletes with disabilities say you take things as they come. Anytime something happens to them, it's not about them. It's about dealing with the situations as they arise.
Sports, both on the able-bodied side and on the Paralympic side, brings a quality of life back to an athlete. So this is a chance for them to come and start on the starting line and see athletes that look just like themselves and compete.
It's just being active and showing the world, giving the world what you have. And just because you have a disability doesn't mean you don't have anything to give.
A lot of people think they can't do it. Like whenever they're out walking, they might just think, I can't run, I can't do this stuff. But if you come here and you see everyone. They're doing everything that you thought you couldn't do. So just come out and see, you can do it.
They can do anything an able-bodied can do, just different. And we want people to see that, understand that. And then, you know, if they have a cousin or a sister or somebody else that they thought, then they can think, oh, well, maybe this person can do this. And get them involved, get them in a sport, let them know that this is a possibility for them.
People with an impairment getting back to life or getting into life. And that's the best part, is there's life beyond rehab. This is it.
The Games are a week of courage and inspiration. For these brave competitors, courage doesn't mean you'll always win. Courage doesn't mean you'll always be the best. Courage means you'll never give up on your dreams. This event demonstrates that it is possible to overcome physical disabilities, to live an active, fulfilling life. The athletes embody the energy, confidence, and optimism at the very heart of Oklahoma's Endeavor Games.
For a DVD copy of this program, please send a check or money order for $22.95 to the OETA Foundation, Post Office Box 14190, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73113. Or to place a credit card order, call 800-879-6382 during regular business hours.